Hey, I'm here with BTS President Ike Reeder, and today we just thought it'd be a really helpful video just to talk about accreditation, especially if you're interested in BTS, learning a little bit more about it. We just thought we would maybe unpack what accreditation is. And so, Ike, I'd love for you to just introduce yourself quickly, and then we'll talk about accreditation.
Hi, my name is Ike Reeder. I get the opportunity to serve as the president of Birmingham Theological Seminary, and accreditation is a seriously and significantly important topic for schools. As a matter of fact, if you're watching this video, you may very well be on our accreditation page on our website with questions and just sort of wondering about what that means. Accreditation does a couple of things for a school and for potential students. The first thing it does is it's basically a certificate of reliability. It establishes whether or not a seminary is considered to be reliable by its peers. And so that's a big deal. Like, you want other schools to recognize and acknowledge that what a school is doing is valuable, that they value and respect it, and that they're doing it in partnership with other organizations and institutions. So accreditation brings reliability. But the other thing that it does as well is it creates an opportunity for schools to be challenged to grow and to better themselves. So accreditation also brings the opportunity in that relationship with other schools for the school to say, how can we get better? How can we keep growing? So accreditability does a couple of things, and other things too. It ensures hopefully financial responsibility and fiscal integrity and ethical operations and practice. So it does a lot of things that are obviously extremely important.
That's great. I mean, as I describe to students a lot of times, just very shorthand, accreditation just kind of proves academic weight. And the fact that your degree is going to have that same weight just kind of moving forward.
Right.
And it's just a set of guidelines by which schools are held accountable to make sure that we're providing a great education.
Yeah.
And so BTS is accredited by ARTS. And so people might not be as familiar with ARTS. And so I know you have a long history with ARTS, and would love for you just to what is ARTS and why is that so important?
Well, ARTS, a lot of people do wonder about ARTS, and what is it, and as you said, what does it provide, and why is it an important organization? But to really answer that question, we need to take a step back prior to ARTS, and so we're actually celebrating our 25th year at ARTS as an accrediting body, the Association of Reformed Theological Seminaries. ARTS accredits only graduate schools and postgraduate schools that are engaged in theological education, and they do so specifically within the context of schools that are committed to Reformed theological traditions.
Okay.
But before ARTS existed, many of the schools that are in ARTS existed before that. So for instance, ARTS just celebrated its 25th anniversary, but BTS existed for 25 years before that. So basically what happened is in the 1990s, several of these schools that were maybe smaller, or they were committed to providing alternative forms of education that may have been outside just the pure residential model, or they may have piggybacked with churches to utilize spaces and resources. Those things actually made them ineligible to be accredited by larger accrediting bodies like ATS or ABHE.
I think a lot of people are mostly familiar with those.
That's exactly right. Those are sort of the big dogs in the industry.
Right.
And so these schools decided we need to build our own accrediting body that recognized different pathways and learning modalities, and an effort to put this graduate level of theological education into a closer partnership with the local church and to people that are already engaged in ministry practice, because it also created more affordable solutions for seminary and for people to be able to access it. They were not in any way interested in dumbing down education. They were not in any way not interested in the academic side of it. They were very interested and invested in that, but they had a second reason for wanting to build ARTS as well, and that's that most of these institutions recognized that ATS did not actually provide any theological accreditation or accountability.
Okay.
Basically, the school just had to be committed to Christianity in the way that they defined it.
Okay.
And then they were accredited based on, did they meet their own standards of definition? But these schools were saying, we want to come together with schools that are committed to the historic Orthodox Reformed faith. We don't want just the academic accreditation. We even want theological accountability and accreditation.
Okay.
So that's what led to the launch of Arts in 1999. And BTS is proud to be one of the charter schools at Arts, and has been accredited for 25 years and is one of the leaders in the arts community. I get the privilege to serve as the executive vice president of Arts right now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, I think especially as we have more and more students that are looking for kind of a historically orthodox kind of seminary, the understanding arts in that way, maybe kind of help. I have described to students who are maybe more familiar with kind of a Presbyterian system, I basically say arts kind of functions almost like a presbytery of seminaries, that we hold each other accountable to make sure that we're just remaining biblical and orthodox.
That's right. Just don't use that to describe it to our Baptist friends
Sure,
in the arts
right.
community. They might take a little bit of issue with that. But you're exactly right.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is to make sure that our schools are both academically and theologically orthodox, sustainable, and that there's mechanisms to make sure that we don't go off mission.
Sure.
All these schools are recognizing that in the larger educational space, most schools within 60 to 80 years of their founding, they leave their original mission. And so they decided we want to do that together in partnership with local churches, but also to create a community of seminaries that can help us say, if you're under this banner, we can be sure that you're committed to historic Orthodox Reformed beliefs and practices.
Yeah, that's great. And in addition to BTS being accredited by Arts as an institution recently got CHIA accredited.
That's right.
And so I would love for you to maybe just take a moment to talk about why that's so important.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, Arts at 25 years, we're still a relatively young accrediting body. The other accrediting bodies have been around for significantly longer than that. And for an accrediting body to go through the process of getting accredited. To provide accreditation is actually a pretty long process.
Sure.
And so it was really almost 15 years ago that Arts started talking about, do we want to be recognized as an accrediting body by an accrediting body? Basically what we saw ourselves as up to that point was what we would refer to as a self-accredited accrediting body.
Right.
In other words, we set the standards and held ourselves to those standards. But of course, when you bring in another accrediting body outside of that, you're asking someone else to hold you accountable for the standards that you have
Just kind
made.
of an added layer there.
That's exactly right. We did not want to go into relationship with the U.S. Department of Education.
Right.
And the reason why is because, A, most of our schools are affordable enough that they don't require loans for students to be able to attend. Most of the schools are able to offer appropriate scholarships with their own resources and funds. So, and then secondly, we just didn't want the U.S. Department of Education kind of meddling with our theological education.
Sure, that's
we
fair.
wanted a separation there. So CHIA is a non-governmental North American accrediting body that accredits accrediting bodies. So about 15 years we started exploring it. We spent a few years studying that. And about 10 years ago we started the application process.
Okay.
We were coming very near the completion of that process when COVID hit. Everything got put on hold for almost 4 years, basically. So we were finally able to resume the accrediting process last year, and Arts went through, and we have now been given our CHIA accreditation. Like any accrediting body that comes in, we're on a 1-year probationary time period. We'll be reassessed this coming year, and if everything continues to look good, then we are fully accredited with CHIA. We're already fully accredited, but then that's extended to a 5-year and then a 10-year plan. So the same way you do with schools, basically. But at this juncture now, Arts is fully accredited by CHIA as an accrediting body. All the Arts member schools are therefore CHIA recognized schools. And yeah, that opens more doors for graduates and to be able to do a variety of things. I'm pretty proud to say that at BTS, most of those doors were already open for students, but it's going to help other schools in the arts community as well. So like, for instance, the CHIA accreditation that Arts has is huge. It's incredibly awesome. But we've placed a lot of students in PhD programs.
Sure.
We've placed a lot of students that have transferred from BTS to go to other schools. Honestly, our current trend is less students transferring from BTS. Like, I'm going to start at BTS and go affordable and get some core classes and then transfer to another school. Sure, people still do that.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of our students relative to other seminaries are transferring into BTS and deciding, no, I want to continue and complete my program at BTS. But we have a wonderful relationship with many of the other Reformed seminaries, and you can find a list of those on our website.
Sure.
But the great news is that CHIA, while adding another element, the biggest thing is that for us is that, and again, we're grateful for the accreditation and we're grateful for CHIA, but the biggest thing is that BTS graduates have always been recognized in multiple denominations as having obtained an ordainable degree.
Sure.
And that's the most important thing, because as much as we want to hold to all these standards and be a partner with ARTS, be accredited by CHIA and everything that goes with it, at the end of the day, the biggest accrediting body that we have as a seminary is the church.
Sure.
We want the church to say, your graduates, they're well trained, they're prepared for ministry, they're able to pass examinations relevant to ordination, and they have long-term sustainability in ministry. That's the greatest success for BTS.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So we like to say our biggest accrediting body is the church.
Is the church, yeah, and that's a great accrediting agency, and we love the church, and everything we do is in service to Christ and His church, and so you know, especially as we've got students that are kind of checking out BTS. You know, the biggest thing that we want you to know is that if you decide to come and be a student here with us, you're going to get a great degree at an affordable price. You're going to be able to have multiple options to be able to get that education. But ultimately, you know, 5, 10, 20 years down the road, you know, because BTS is accredited, your degree is just going to carry weight with it along the way. And it's something we work really hard to maintain. We love seeing our graduates go out and either go serve in the local church or pursue further studies or wherever the Lord might have them. But we want you to know and have the confidence that when you graduate as a BTS student, your degree is just going to be a great degree that's going to be well recognized kind of across the spectrum of wherever God may lead you. And so if you are considering BTS as an option, we would invite you to go on the website and click that little Start Your Journey form up there at the top. And we would love to send you some information and enter into that conversation about how we could serve you and come alongside you to help you follow God's call on your life, achieve the goals that you want to meet. It's our desire to be able to help you in that process. And, you know, Ike, did you have any, you know, maybe closing thoughts or invitation to any future students that might be watching this?
Yeah, I would just say that the proof is in the pudding. Not only are we one of the leaders in the accrediting agency that we're one of the founders of, but over the last 25 years, over 98% of BTS students that have gone on to ordination, particularly in the Presbyterian Church in America, have passed their ordination exams with flying colors. And over the last 25 years, over 80% of our graduates that have gone out into ministry are still in ministry. And so it's a program that's academically strong, it is accredited and carries weight, but it also helps train men for ministry in longevity and in focusing on what it means to be a minister of the gospel, and men and women for leadership in the local church in many different capacities and varieties. So we'd love to have you join us if the Lord's leading you there.
Sure. Well, thanks, Ike. Thanks for taking a few minutes. We hope this video has been helpful for you to understand kind of what accreditation is and why it matters. And again, we'd love for you to request more information, and we hope that you'll take a class with us down the road.